Gracias. Oops. Welcome everyone, I'm Jyoti, and we have gathered together some of the Mother Earth delegation of United Original Peoples, so we can share a little bit of what is driving our hearts today. But before we start, our Sami grandmother Helen is going to welcome us into country, and she and Mindahi are going to open with prayer, so Spirit fills our words.
Thank you. Greetings to all of you, and greetings to all of you that are listening to us out in the world. It's an honor to be on this panel with my sisters and brothers, and it's an honor to have you as a public to listening to us wherever you are in the world. I really will welcome you on my lands with all my love and with the gratitude that I can share my knowledge, I can share my walk with you. So thank you.
Ikamadi sikwada siku dihwala sukoi hira sukoi himu. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, brothers and sisters from around the world, and especially around this conference in commemorating the S+50. And we are alive, we are here. A greeting from the Mother Earth delegation. That is the voice of Mother Earth and is the voice of Father Sky. So for that, I'm going to call the 4 directions in one single sound and the tree of life, so we can connect with mystery, we can connect with the heart, so we can remember who we are as human beings. And remember that we are not here forever, just for a while. So we must behave, we must do the work that we are meant to do, in honoring our ancestors, in honoring us and the future generations to come. Na, yoho, you. Hi.
So we got together before we came, so we could center and focus a question for each of the delegates to give them the platform to bring their passion to you in a 3-minute moment. So, Mindahi, what is the message from the Otomi-Toltec, Mexica, Aztec, and Mayan peoples for the Stockholm +50?
Thank you. And this is a message from the Otomi-Toltec peoples, from the Mayan and the Aztec and all the peoples who are in Mesoamerica. But also remember that we share the Turtle Island, and we also share with Central America and South America ancestral teachings. That we are here to tell the world that we are alive. We are here to tell the world that we are not to be dismissed or ignored. 50 years ago, there was a wonderful opportunity for human beings to behave. We don't have anything to celebrate. We are just commemorating those times because we are not better than 50 years ago. The air that we breathe is more polluted. The soils are more polluted, the waters, and the energy that we are using are not clean. So we call upon the minds and the good science to recover dignity and we acknowledge the ancestral wisdom and ancestral teachings how to behave. So we are here to remember who we are as human beings, and that all nation states, all international governmental organizations, and even those NGOs, they have to come together with original nations and peoples and work together. Because we are living a civilizational crisis that we must remember how we can live in peace and harmony with nature and with this beautiful planet. So institutions must change. If your institution, your person, your organization is not working for the care of life, you must change or disappear. It's time, and the time is now. So thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity to be here in Stockholm, plus 50. The time is running. Mother Earth knows who behaves good and who doesn't. The cleansing is coming. Climate change is just the result of misbehavior. So we need really to be organized. Nothing is going to be given us just by chance. We need to be organized, to come together. And we call upon the unification process. All peoples, all nations coming together as a rainbow. If one color is lacking, there is no rainbow. We remember that we are gifted, but those gifts are responsibilities. I ask the Great Spirit today that bless us and give us strength to come together again as families, as communities, as nations, so we can work together. Thank you very much.
Grandmother Helen, what is the message that your ancestors are calling out for?
Thank you. I come from the indigenous people, the Sami people. The ancestor has been calling for a very, very long time for us to listen, but also for us to be announced and to be seen and acknowledged as a region people, as an indigenous people. The answer to this call is that we need to come back. We need to listen what she is calling. Mother Earth is urgent calling, and it's now. She's calling us for listening. She's calling us for feelings. She's calling us to be here with her. Because we are her. And if we are not listening, we are destroying ourselves. We are destroying humanity. In the times in the generations back, there were no systematic, there were no industries. I come from a generation of forest people. I come from a generation with healers. And they did the work. And they survived. And they had a good life. And then there come some obstacles that I will not attend now, because then I'm going to speak a very long time. So, and when we abuse the land, we disconnect our people. And now we need to come back. We need to reconnect. We need to awaken the memory that is stored in the land. Because it's us. It's our roots. So we were taking our roots. My house was taken this week. And I had the first time in my whole life, I thought I felt disconnection before. But now I know what it is to be disconnected. To be taking my homeland, where generations of my family have walked. And there will be no ability to come back to show that to my grandchildren. But I will have many good memories from that land to tell stories to them. But it would be beautiful if I could show them the land, which I cannot do. And that's why it's so important, why we are gathered today, is to open the voice from all nations to come together and to speak and to talk out in the world. What is happening in the north is happening in the south, and it's the same. It's no different. But the difference is that we come from different cultures, different traditions, and that can we not take away, because this is us. So we need to do this walk together, because we are one people. We are one voice. So let us walk together. Thank you.
Kurikindi, what do the peoples of the Amazon want to share with the world?
Primeramente quiero dar gracias a todas las personas que están aquí, que han dado su tiempo valioso para escucharnos.
First of all, I would like to give a big thanks to all the people who have come to listen to us.
Quisiera decir primero que estamos aquí, los pueblos originarios,
But first of all, I would like to say that we come here from the original nations
para poder compartir que la Madre Tierra está afectada, que la Madre Tierra está sufriendo.
to share with you that Mother Earth is suffering.
¿Por qué? Con todas las corporaciones que han llegado refiriéndome a la Amazonía,
Why? Why is she suffering? With all the big corporations who are coming to the Amazonian rainforest
vas a sacar el petróleo de la tierra, o las organizaciones mineras sacar el oro de la tierra, o las compañías madereras a talar el bosque y quemar.
they come to take up oil from the ground. They come to open mines to take out the gold. They come to cut down the forests to bring out the wood.
Los pueblos originarios nos hemos dado cuenta de que esto es el poder de las industrias, las leyes débiles, las autoridades cómplices y falta de conciencia.
We from the indigenous people have seen that these are the corrupt people, authorities with no conscience of Mother Earth.
La Amazonía es un lugar pristino. La Amazonía es un punto en el mundo. Es un punto de mucha diversidad.
The rainforest is a sacred place that holds life that only exists within her.
Con muchos pueblos que viven ahí, guerreros, guerreras, sin importar la edad.
There are so many people, villages existing within her that brings out warriors, females and males.
Y estos guardianes de la Amazonía dicen que el mundo tiene que escuchar, que el mundo tiene que poner atención, porque la Amazonía es parte del pulmón del mundo.
We who protect her, we come to raise our voices because the Amazonian rainforest is the lungs of this earth.
Es muy importante que la humanidad tenga conciencia de lo que está pasando en nuestro planeta, porque todos vivimos en ella y queremos que este punto importante en el mundo sea escuchado, sea protegido.
We want the world to be aware of what is happening because we are all depending on her.
Quiero que todos ustedes, tanto como nosotros, tengamos esta responsabilidad
All of you, like all of us, have this responsibility to protect her, Mother Earth,
y poder ofrecer la libertad de vivir, poder ofrecer el summa causa, el buen vivir, el vivir con respeto y amor a la Madre Tierra.
so that we can offer freedom, so that we can offer a life lived in harmony with the earth for the generations to come.
Eso es lo único que podemos hacer para poder ofrecer a la nueva generación un mejor futuro.
This is what we can do to give the next generation a better future.
Hatun apu, hatun mama, Pachamama Indiaya, Yaku mama, Wairayaya, Summa Yuyay Gunata, Kanyukanchay Pai, Nyukanchi Runagunay Churay, Nyukanchi Summa Kausaita Charingawa, Nyukanchi Summa Yuyaywa, Summa Yuyaywa, Kanyambita Katingawa, Ashka Pagrachu, Hatun apu, hatun mama, Pachamama, Indiaya, Yaku mama, Wairayaya. Pagrachu, gracias, gracias.
For the big mountain spirits, for the great Mother Earth, for Mother Water, for Mother and Father Wind. Thank you so much.
Grandmother Helen wants to excuse herself. She has another place to go in the midst of all of this, so the water and our grandmas and grandpas are totally there. And we're constantly restructuring ourselves. Do you think that might be a hint to what we need to do? I don't know. So Randy, the doctrine of discovery, how has it influenced the moment we're standing in, and what do we need to do?
Hello, mitakuyepi. Ya toka he ya hina shibiki na wichite na stastogna na Unangan malaka ki yushkia na be uchus papi. Randy Elizabeth imachapi na wazi aha makopash pe wa eta miliwacha iakota ha makoche wa eta wa uelwa. So first of all, I'd like to greet each and every one of you standing in front of me, listening. And those that are on television as well, a warm handshake goes out to each and every one of you for taking your time to come here and listen to each and every one of us as we speak on the behalf of Indigenous people and the awareness that we're spreading across the world. And my name is Randy Elizabeth, and I come from across the ocean, a place called Turtle Island. And within Turtle Island, I come from Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, from Lakota, Oglala, Sioux tribe. So the point that I want to make, doctrine discovery, is in order for to understand what doctrine of discovery is, you have to go back to the original people. The effects of the doctrine of discovery still continues today, because the doctrine of discovery is the one that nearly dismantled and disabled Indigenous people across the United States and around the world. They have taken many lands away from the First Nations. They took away minerals. They have polluted our water. They're destroying what we call Mother Earth. So this is where now we're bringing awareness to each and every home households and around the world to let them listen to us because we are the caretakers of this land. The Creator has bestowed upon us to pass this on to the next generation. So when you look at the doctrine of discovery, it started back in 1452. So in order to understand this, you have to listen to the original people and how it affected them. And as the doctrine of discovery has filtered into today's United States judicial system, you have what we call the Marshall Trilogies. The Marshall Trilogies that have fully affected tribes within the United States because they have taken many lands away and what we call boarding schools. Boarding schools had taken away our original language, which are basically, we try to reclaim our language because the language is connected to the land around us. And this is why we teach younger generation and people who are non-Indians to understand us, where we come from, why we are protecting Mother Earth. So this is what we call doctrine of discovery. In order to understand that, like I said, listen to the original people and they'll give you a real good viewpoint of what he has done to the people. Take away the language because the language is the most important thing because it is what we call the healing process. Listen to them and then you fully understand what we're talking about. With that, thank you very much. Appreciate it. I hope.
So Uncle, who lives up in Greenland, has COVID. He's not able to join us, so you might hold him in your prayers so he can heal himself because he moves fast. And he has a message, so he sent Anja, who walks with him in a very firm and strong way, to bring a voice to what does it mean that the ice is melting, and how do we melt the ice in the hearts of the people?
I'm speaking today to you as an ally. I'm just coming from a travel to Greenland to see the ice melting. You can think of it is far away, it is up north, and there is enough. But I have been there 3 years ago, and now I have been there again. And you can see how really rapidly it is melting. How would you react when it is your resource and you really, and I want to show you, and you would see, this is the last drop you have. Would you change? And Uncle is always telling us, listen, and listen, and listen again. How often should we repeat the same story again and again? You all listened to that, and you changed. But would you behave in another way when you really see someday this would be the last drop? So what else can I tell you to melt your ice, the ice in your heart? Be yourself the change and make the world a better place. You are the one. Thank you for having a voice.
So Uncle is calling. He's been given some instruction from August 5th through August 16th. He wants us to come and stand with a holy fire there on the crust of the earth he says has never experienced war. He said, what happens when the ice is melting and certainly sea levels rise? When the ice is melting, watercourse ways change. But what happens, because now we're down into the dark ice, the very old millennia ice, what happens to the bacteria that lives in such ice that has never been exposed to us. The ice is melting, and that brings us to the rights of nature, Alexis. The ecological laws that we have are just not working. In fact, they're creating a speed that is hurting and destroying our nature. What do we do? What's happening?
Thank you. The current environmental legal system treats nature as property, which means that if it is destroyed, reparations, payment is made to the human owner of that property. But the rights of nature itself to exist, flourish, regenerate, and evolve is an inherent right that all indigenous peoples have known. My ancestors in what is now called Alaska and the Aleutian Islands knew that, and they stewarded this land with prayer, through care, through sharing, through making sure that resources were cyclical and came back each year, and it's a no-brainer for indigenous peoples. And it's no surprise then that the countries that have adopted rights of nature first have largely indigenous populations. Places like Ecuador, Bolivia, Aotearoa, what is known as New Zealand, and India as well. And it's not going to be popular to say, but my Swedish ancestors were responsible for privatizing this country and extracting, gaining wealth, oppressing peoples. And maybe some of you there are descended from those who were oppressed from my ancestors, or maybe some of you did that too. Maybe you still do it. And I'm saying this to say that no matter what your background is, you can indigenize your minds to be a part of this movement to protect nature, connecting with the messages that we've heard from everybody. So I want to direct your attention to a couple places you can practically go to learn more. One is GARN, the Global Alliance for the Rights of Nature. Another is CELDEF, the Center for Environmental Legal Defense. Another is an organization called Movement Rights. And another one is Pioneers, where I work, and I've been working a lot on a tribally led rights of nature initiative in the US. Thank you.
And my sister Loretta, Freda Bear Cook, grandmother Loretta, Unchi, is someone that has walked toward this earth, and so has her full lineage, to her mother, to her grandmother, to on and on and on, back to the original times. So she comes here to share a message of gratitude as we open the door and learn how to walk forward in such emotion.
Well, Dr. Gachicha Josie, thank you. I would like to thank all of the panel here for all of the wonderful words that were shared with you this morning and today. It's really important to recognize how we speak and how we say things, not just being witty about important issues, because the wind is hearing you. The message that you're putting into the wind, it carries a very long way. It touches hearts. So when we think about talking about important issues, we really put it front and center, that the words we are saying are not words that have taught us or have been instilled in us through colonization. Words like dehumanization, domination. Those are words that conjure up a whole different way of looking at what's happening in the world today. I think that when children are being killed en masse, or you have a war going on just a few miles to the south, it makes you wonder about what people are really thinking Makes you wonder if those people have grandmothers and grandfathers. It makes you wonder about your own background and where you come from. Because if you reach in the back of yourself and you bring that forward, there are ways in guiding principles. There are laws that your people had before we arrived here today. So I just would like to caution you when you make those words to really mean what you're saying in that moment, that you're having these important thoughts, because what you're putting out there is affecting everything. So with that, I would like to take this time to say to you, all of you, thank you so much for coming and spending your day with us. And I would take this opportunity to say to my sisters, Aneta, and to Rebecca, and to
Christian.
oh yes, to our own Christian that's sitting over there, to Jyoti, to Mindahi, to my girl here. I love this girl. She's a very good Native representative out there in the world. She has the knowledge, she has the education. And look at her, she's beautiful to look at too. I'm really proud of her. And my brothers, Kurikindi, Randy, and my newest sister, Anya. And there are Cardinal Anders Aurelius, Bishop Kamara, and the Sabi people here, sister that just left here, I don't know where she went. Helene? Yeah, Helene. I'd like to take this time to thank each and every one of you for all of your work. This is really hard to do. It really is getting people to come and listen to what we're talking about. Basically, we're a good show of continuity. We're going to tell you the same thing over and over and over. And it's not simple because we have to live it every day. But at the same time, you take that and apply what you can use from it, make it count. Because we travel many, many hours to sit here with you, enjoy your presence, and to share your time and space. Because that's hard to do too. We're coming into your community. And it isn't that we know everything, but we do know something. And that is, we love this world. We love everything in it. We love each and every one of you and the people that you represent. And so today, from the bottom of all of our hearts, as a grandmother, I say thank you. Thank you very much.
We have copies of the proclamation and petition from the Mother Earth Delegation regarding the Vatican Papal Bulls of the 15th century. If you'd like a copy of it, so you can understand more of what's in motion and how we need to complete that story and move on. Now we'd like to open it to you. Do any of you have questions?
Or commentaries. Or commentaries.
They always make comments on that.
So we can take a little bit because it's a little bit difficult to have to be here.
But some give the conference.
My name is Ana Maria. I come from Colombia. And in this very moment, I have a knot in my throat. Being here and listening to this wise words from my brothers and my sisters makes me wonder how easy it could be if humankind would really want to get things well done. Our Pachamama, who gives us everything, is suffering because of us, and that suffering is making us suffer. I only wanted to say thank you to my brothers and my sisters because these beautiful words are what we need to do. We have been focusing a lot of time in what's outside, and we have forgotten about our own soul, our hearts, and our minds. So thank you for being here to be able to share this beautiful sense of the Latin American region and all the indigenous and this ancestral wisdom, which is now so important. And I believe that this wisdom is like a light in our situation, in our difficult situation. So thank you. I don't have any questions. I just wanted to. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Does anybody else have a question, inspiration?
Hello, my name is Sandra, and I'm a journalist from Bonn, Germany, but I'm here also as a delegate for Parents for Future and Mother Earth Project. But I thank you. I've heard these messages so many times. I mean, in Bonn last year there was a delegation of the Zapatistas that traveled, with the same messages. In Bonn there was also Mother Rights of Nature trial at the COP23. So you're repeating these messages again and again. And now we also have here the official UN conference. And what's your message to the world leaders that have been, dealing with these issues and policies now for 50 years, and it's kind of like devastating. And one question to my, I lived in Alaska, rural Alaska, Nome and Bethel, and what's really frightening is the pace of climate change there, the degradation of the permafrost. There was a news last week that basically by mid-century, the Siberian tundra might be vanished. What's your message, from this part of the world to the community and then to the world leaders?
Me and then them.
Who wants to answer?
I want to answer to.
You go first.
Okay.
I don't think that stretches.
So for the world leaders, this is called Bastida. We want to ask and demand that inherent rights are acknowledged in every single state. And the 169 ILO Convention be signed by those countries have not signed yet. But we are acknowledged as subjects of rights, but collective subjects of rights. And we want land demarcation. Because we are almost 5% of the population in the world. But we take care and give care of more than 50% of the territories around the world, which is very important. But there are no biocultural policies to protect biocultural heritage. So we ask and we demand to the nation states to really work on the protection of life, the protection of this biocultural heritage. Because there are environmental laws who are very permissive, and they have failed. So this new rights of nature and earth jurisprudence be established as a new regime that really protects life. So our demands are ancestral demands, and now more than ever they are needed for the sake of everybody, not just human beings. And we ask the nation states and corporations not to think just in an anthropocentric way. We must think as just another species in the concept of life. Thank you.
Hold it up close.
How many decades did it take to get UNDRIP, the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, drafted and passed? And what happened in those decades that the bureaucratic wheels were cranking at the slowest pace possible? What happened with global warming? How did that hockey stick move up? And why is it that the Anglo-settler colonial nations were the last ones to sign on to UNDRIP? And just now, just this year, Canada is finally beginning to implement a little bit of it in British Columbia into laws, and even that's a bureaucratic mess. It's time to get out of the bureaucracy and figure out ways to speed things up and listen to Indigenous peoples who have been saying things that would help solve the problem from time immemorial, living in place, from learning how to do that over generations of knowledge built up over time and place without disruption until recently. And even better yet, listen to nature. But if you can't, then listen to all of us.
And I'm a grandma, so I'm still always learning. But we're here right now in the middle of something. And there's an inside and there's an outside. Why aren't we on the same side? When do we take these borders and melt them down so we can all sit together and talk about our issues in the moment we're standing in that needs a moment of choice that's conscious? We have our original people that have been knocking at the door so they could go on the inside and speak for Mother Earth, but we weren't able to register. In this moment that we're standing in, my question would be, why do we even have to register? Why don't we all show up and start to feel into the moment we are? Because we're thinking and we're talking, but we're not allowing ourselves to feel what's really here with us now. Oh, I don't know, I'm just a grandmother. Yay! Anybody else have a question or a statement before we close?
Over there, over there.
Okay. I'm coming. I'll remind you just take your heart and put it in a quick moment, but we use way too much words, so.
Hi everyone, I'm Chiara and I'm from Italy, and I want to thank you all of us, and I want to let you know that I discovered about indigenous people and all about also environmental law just a couple of years ago, because of course my background, my country education kind of think that this is marginal, whereas in my opinion it's very important for all of us, and we have to reflect on it. I'm from the countryside, so there are some issues that I'm really concerned a lot about as well, because yeah, I grew up in a street country with nature. But honestly, in my country, we are still like when I speak about like your issues and about all these things, people think that I'm kind of not crazy, but they think that what I'm saying doesn't matter. And I feel that all this, I feel that I want to contribute, but I need a drive. And so I'm asking you, how can we really contribute to this issue? How can we participate to this? And how can we network all together also in countries like mine, where indigenous issues are not felt at all, just for few people as me. So I'm just asking a suggestion because I would love to contribute a lot, but I want to do in a matter that is actually important. Sorry.
Someone like to answer, Randy.
Oh, Mindahi, one of the like to answer one of the questions that you guys had One way is because I know that in the United States and around the world, we have elections. That's the foundation of what we call laws that are in place. They're the ones that place the laws into the system, and they're the ones that are passing the laws. So when you look at your own community, your own cities, your own countries, you have to look at your own federal officials. Who are your officials within your respected area? Because I know that a lot of these officials here in the UN, UK, or all over, if they're not doing their job of working with the people, not listening to the people, you have that power as a people, as a nation, to come together and re-elect new people into those positions that are willing to stand with you, listen to you, and have you change these laws. That's one way you can look at it that way. Redo the elections and put in new people into the system where you can see a change. So that's how I look at it as well in that way. So because I know that we look for change, and how can we find change? Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. And I think we're running out of time, and so we're just going to have this beautiful grandmother come and close things with a statement. You're itching. What's happening?
Yes, he's really want you. He wants your attention. That's why he sent me to you.
We can't close while you're itching.
I'm sorry.
No, sorry.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not sorry. I'm Alexander. So my name's Alexander Paul. I am from the north of Sweden, but many other places. And my question is, I want to go home. I'm like the Amish. I've been on wanderings for too long, and I want to come home to nature and re-indigenize. And I think it's long enough that you've been looking after the ancient ways. And I just want to invite you to think about inviting us home. You know, we've been apart and we belong together, and only if we who have left nature come back to nature and learn the old ways will we ever find balance and harmony again. So it's really a desperate plea from someone who knows that he has gone away, and I don't believe that technology will save us. You know, they keep telling us, everyone says machines will fix everything. But I do honestly think that you hold the key, and we just have to share it again. So that was my desperate.
The oneness has won out. Is there anything you want to say to that before our grandmother closes things?
Come to Greenland 2.0.
Did you hear?
Come to Greenland and come to 2.0 of climate change. I invite you. That's what we did. So come to a peaceful land, enjoy peace, enjoy the people, enjoy the elders, and come to 2.0 of climate change. Look with your own eyes and reconnect.
And Uncle's going to pass some very old things on. Anything else? No. Okay. Would you please close us with your wisdom? And then Mindahi, if you could translate, she's going to speak in Swedish and Spanish. And
I don't speak Swedish.
Tack is
Tack så mycket. Entonces lo digo en castellano. ¿Me traduces?
¿Qué?
¿Al inglés?
Al inglés, sí.
Casi hablo en sueco.
Jag tycker att det här är jättefint. Liksom vi lever... perdón, estaba en... Vivimos tiempos difíciles. Vivimos tiempos de guerra, de violencia, de muertes a mujeres, niños y también a varones, muertes, asesinatos a los defensores y defensoras. Y además tenemos todos el desafío de las amenazas a la madre tierra.
I forgot. That we are living in difficult times. We are seeing the deaths of children, the death of women, and we are just facing all of these atrocities.
Pero a la vez, este tiempo nos pone el desafío de juntarnos y de darnos energía unas a otras y unos a otros y unes a otros, de manera que podamos superar los desafíos y también disfrutar, porque la vida es también disfrute.
So we have now these challenges to struggle and to come together, to see each other, women and men, coming together, because these challenges have to be met.
Agradezco muchísimo a los hermanos, hermanas que han venido a darnos esperanzas, a despertar una luz, un calor de esperanzas para seguir la lucha juntos, porque sabemos, sí.
So I thank you, brothers and sisters, because you have come and give us hope, and we need to deliver this hope to others.
Necesitamos más que nunca que no nos apaguen la esperanza. Necesitamos estar juntos y juntas defendiendo a la casa común que es el planeta.
So with this hope, we need to be together and we need to defend the common house we have.
Y sabemos que no va a ser fácil, porque se trata de cambiar un sistema. No se trata de conferencias climáticas y conferencias ambientales y más palabras, sino se trata de cambios radicales, de una forma de ver al planeta, de una forma de ver a la vida.
So we have the chance to change and to defend life. So this is the time.
Por tanto, los invito a que todas y todos, a partir de hoy día mismo, renueven compromisos con la vida.
So we invite everybody to renew our commitment with life.
Gracias, hermanos y hermanas.
Brothers and sisters.
Thank you. Now it's time to put a prayer in action. Don't just think about it. Be the peace we've been praying for. Let's march together. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh boy.
Careful, yes. Careful.
Maybe
So our caps are with